Got the dogs with me today, down by the lake. And one of the things I want to talk about real quick, as I have these guys here, they're fucking freezing it looks like, but we're gonna do this real quick for you. Tempo prescriptions and rest intervals. These are two things that coaches will include into their programs to try to create a perfect program. But Scott Abel once said that not everything that can be measured matters, and not everything that matters can be measured. And those are two variables that generally, for most people or in most instances, will be a limiting factor on maximizing the return that you get on your investment of time and effort. And how will they be a limiting factor? Because they say energy flows where attention goes. And if your attention is going to things like counting how fast you're doing a rep instead of paying attention to the fucking rep that you're doing, then you're going to negatively affect your end result. If you're waiting for a clock to tell you when you're ready to perform your next set, then you're missing the forest for the trees. You should perform your next set based on how demanding your last set was, and if you've recovered enough to perform the next set with as much or more intensity and effort than you did the set before. A clock cannot tell you this. A clock cannot forecast how demanding the work was that you were going to do. Therefore, it can't forecast your recovery demands either. So paying attention to the clock is not something you want to do. What you want to do, a more effective cue, would be understand what you want to accomplish through your training. Do you want to perform all your sets at the best of your ability or not? If you want to perform your next set in a state of oxygen debt, then a clock can't tell you when to go. You will know based on how you feel. And if you're paying attention to external cues like the clock, you're not paying attention to the internal cues your body's giving you, like they're giving cannoli right now because she's cold and she wants to get the fuck out of here, but daddy's got a video to shoot. Now, another thing is cadence and tempo. One of the things people will do, to try to perfect their training or to maximize the return on investment, is they'll count out how slow or how fast they want to do their reps. Now, if a tempo says to lower a weight for 4 seconds, what people will do is, even though 4 seconds is supposed to be very objective, 4 seconds is 4 seconds, it becomes very subjective, and people will start to count faster so that they can perform more reps or meet the demand that was written down on a piece of paper, which was pre-planned and has no idea how you're feeling on any given day. It cannot forecast that. So one of the things that you don't really want to do is pay attention to tempo, because if you're counting out your reps, what are you not doing? You're not paying attention to the work that you're doing, how difficult the work is going to be, and how much effort and focus and intensity and concentration should be going towards the set, yet it's going towards counting. So you're going to negatively affect your end result. What you want to do, instead of counting out tempo and then being very subjective about it and counting faster so that you can meet the demand of the reps that are performed or written down anyways, prescribed, understand what you want to get from your training. Is the purpose of lowering for 4 seconds to lower for 4 seconds? No, it's not. It's probably, if Briggs will calm down for a second here, I'm not sure what the fuck he's looking at. The purpose is to keep the muscles engaged. And if the purpose is to keep the muscles engaged, then counting faster to perform more reps is not going to do that for you. So understand how you want to perform your reps and do it that way. If the purpose is to perform them explosively and fast, do it that way. Focus on what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing. Your workout, your training, your sets, your reps, your exercises are only something you can experience. A program can't do that for you. So that's something I wanted to share real quick. Energy flows where attention goes. If you're paying attention to things that do not matter, because not everything that can be measured matters, and not everything that matters can be measured, you're going to negatively affect the end result. Take that into consideration when you're training. There are benefits to a tempo prescription and rest intervals being prescribed in training programs, and those are generally for people who are beginners and don't actually know what to do and how to pay attention to their body. But the goal should be to eventually work up to a point where you're paying attention to the internal cues your body's giving you. How demanding is the work that you're doing? That will demand, or that will influence what your recovery demands ought to be. And depending on what you want to accomplish through your training should determine when you perform your next set. Can you perform it with as much intensity, effort, and concentration as the last set, or do you want to perform it in a state of oxygen debt? So I'll leave it at that. If you like the information, feel free to share it. I'm going to cut it short because the dogs are freezing. I'm going to get them out of here. The lake, it's not too fucking warm out here today. Click the fucking button at the bottom, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep bringing it. And so will Cannoli, and so will Briggs. All right, let's go home, guys.